You know, I had a dream, and it was about sped noodles and Kitty Paquita at the crossroads. And I'm not calling it the voting booth. And I walk up to them. Mind you, this was a dream. This wasn't real. I walked up to them and I asked them, Who are you voting for?" And they got mad at me because I asked that question. They said, "Hey, you not bring that up. I don't want my Discord fan base to be upset." Oh, so you don't want to bring up what a Yuji Itadori cosplayer did because because you might be triggered because of what he's done for the country, right? And Kitty Paquita said yes. So I asked them, if Eugene Carroll was your daughter or your sister and Donald Trump raped her, what would you do? Would you rather stand aside and let it happen? Or would you rather be an actual decent human being and actually beat the shit out of Donald Trump? My apologies, everyone. Discord with fucking TikTok was just being an asshole. But again, there was a question I asked Kitty Paquita and Spen Noodles in this dream. And you know what they said? They said that they will expose the child molester, not the Yuji Itadori cosplayer. And you know what I asked them? I said, how? They said by gathering information and, you know, basically being like Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory. I woke up. I woke up. See, that's the problem. I've seen so many predator catchers nowadays. I've seen so many of them. Not a single damn person did what a Yuji Itadori cosplayer did to a child molester. And that is the problem. Faith without works is dead. See, I am a man of faith, and I've always thought that by faith I am saved. But once I am saved, works should follow. So that would mean I would have to go outside, and if I find a child molester, am I supposed to watch it happen? No. I'm supposed to beat the living shit out of it. Because why? Mark chapter 9, verse 42 says it. And this shows how much disgust Jesus has for pedophiles. For whosoever defiles these little ones who believe in me to sin, it will be better for him if a great millstone were hung about his neck and was thrown into the sea. See, that's the problem with this country. See, that's the problem with this country. 77 million people went to the crossroads and saw that. If you hear my stomach growling, you know why. But 77 million people went to the crossroads and saw and overlooked rape, overlooked tax fraud, overlooked child molestation, and they said, yes, Donald Trump is my guy. And that's what's the problem with this country. They would rather watch a child molester they would rather watch a child get molested by a 30-year-old man or a rather 40-year-old man, they'd rather walk up to it and beat him up. And that's the problem. See, when Alex Preddy and Renee Good were alive, you know what Renee Good's last words were? I'm not mad at you. She died for her faith. She died for her faith. She didn't care what was going to happen to her because her heart was with the Lord. She followed the commandments. See, faith without works is dead. Meaning, you say you believe in God, good. Demons believe in it. Demons believe in him. Again, with Kitty Bikita, she says that she believes in God. Good. That means Satan believes in God the same way Kitty Bikita believes in God. So, if a child molester were to be around my neighborhood, I would go outside and give him the hands. I'm not going to let him sit by and watch it happen. I'm not going to sit by and watch it happen. I'm going to beat his ass. But Kitty Bikita and Sped Noodles, they would rather sit behind the camera, do their little research, thinking that they're the heroes of the internet, thinking that shit's sweet with legal shit, when you know cops don't even come around nowadays for pedophilia. They only come out when it's bloody fucking murder. Cops literally dragged a United States veteran out of office. Cops, mind you, that are here to serve and protect the innocent. But I guess cops would rather protect a pedophile that's in office than rather protect a United States veteran. Right? Because he's white. Because Donald Trump in the White House is white. 77 million people, including Sped Noodles and Kitty Bikita, were triggered because of a black man in the White House. So they went back to what they knew. The plantation owner. And I feel as though I have been called to not only to serve God and to spread the gospel, but also to expose the darkness that is in this world. And I'm going to apply that throughout my life. See, now, I don't blame Jesus for him being disgusted at what these pedophiles have done. I don't blame him. I don't blame him for wanting to see them being chopped up by the guillotine. I don't blame Jesus for that. Because that Mark chapter 9, verse 42, in context, he literally said, if there is a child, mind you, this is literally what he just said. Mind you, this is a normal way of Jesus saying, if there is a child rapist, let him be chopped. Let him be chopped. Put him in the guillotine. Make him suffer the same way murderer suffers. And that's why we're here. That's why we're here as a country. White supremacy. Kitty Bikita and Sped Noodles, through their silence, voted for the adjudicated rapist in the White House. It's not that they couldn't afford to vote. It's not that they were ineligible to vote. Silence is complicity. Faith without works is dead. And when Kitty Bikita and Sped Noodles go up to God, God is going to ask them, and he's going to point them to Renee Good. And he's going to ask them, did you talk about her in my name? Did you bring up awareness about her in my name? Did you bring up about Breonna Taylor, a black woman, in my name? Did you expose the things that Charlie Kirk said in my name. Oh, you didn't? Because you wanted to, you didn't want to upset your fan base? Oh, you could go with the goats. Oh, don't worry. You'll be fine with Jeffrey Epstein and the Candace Owens and the Pete Hegseths. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Right? Because you're fine with sitting behind a camera while a Yuji Itadori cosplayer literally beats the ever-living shit out of pedophiles because he cares more about the damn country and the damn people than he cares about himself. And that's the type of person I want as president. Literally, a Yuji Itadori cosplayer is more Christian than you will ever be, Katie Paquito, because he cares about the people. What do you care about? Nothing, apparently. 77 million people, including you, through your silence, and including Spend Noodles, through your silence, voted for Trump. Don't say you didn't, because your silence did. Your silence is what made Donald Trump win the election. And it's the same silence that made Jesus Christ die on that cross. So, I'm sorry to say this, but I hope America falls. I hope America falls. I hope democracy ends. And I say this with the bottomless, with the bottom part of my lung. I really hope America suffers. And I really do mean that. And I genuinely 100% mean that. I don't blame Jesus for him being disgusted by what these pedophiles have done. He would rather see them getting publicly beheaded than rather see them hanged up like a museum. Because it's true. Child rapists deserve the guillotine. Death to all pedophiles. It doesn't matter which one they are. Miguel Miranda, I know you're watching, and I know you're boy, don't get me started. God would rather see you on the chopping block than rather see you hang around like a museum with your head in a museum. Because that's how much hate he has for pedophiles. That's how much hate he has for people who murder other people. Donald Trump murdered a school filled with 186 schoolgirls. And you think that shit's sweet. Your silence thinks that shit is sweet. That, the Trail of Tears was okay. The Middle Passage was okay. January 6th was okay. See, part of this country was triggered by Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, and their children being in the White House because they were black. And y'all couldn't stomach thriving under a black man, so you went back to, you couldn't stomach the fact that you couldn't stomach thriving under a black man, but instead wanted a black man outside picking your cotton. So you went back to what you knew. In 16, 20, and 24, y'all voted through your silence the same rapist, the same pedophile, the same man that literally raped Eugene Carroll, a 13-year-old. Because you think that shit is sweet. It's that simple. And it's not because of the price of eggs, and it's not because of the price of gas. It's because he's white. You wanted what's beneficial for yourself, not for giving a damn about other people. See, I give respect to that Yuji Itadori cosplayer that literally saw a child molester at an anime convention. Because why? Because he did what no other predator catcher would do. Like Gideon and Katie Paquita and Maya Glaze and all these, like, all these wannabe predator catchers. Like, hey, no shade to Gideon. He's doing what he's doing. Like, I give him props. But a Yuji Itadori cosplayer, that is a definition of a predator poacher. Now, if you don't know the difference between a predator catcher and a predator poacher, look at the video where EDP445 got caught. Then look at the video of the Yuji Itadori cosplayer. Notice the difference? Notice the difference? I'll tell you the difference. There was no hesitation in the Yuji Itadori cosplayer. There was no, hey, you want to have a chat? There was no, hey, you want to read these screenshots? There was no decoys. There was no fucking alt account making. There was no sitting behind a camera. That Yuji Itadori cosplayer got his hands dirty with the child molester and beat his ass. That's the difference between a predator poacher and a predator catcher. And that is the reason why we are also here as a country. Because not many people are willing to get their hands dirty and beat the ever-living shit out of Donald J. Trump. They would rather watch and let him rape Eugene Carroll than rather stand up for what's right for the country. You're not pro-life. You're not Christians. You're modern-day Pharisees. You're just ignoring what's benefit for other people. You rather listen to what's beneficial for yourself. And that's why we're here. This is you, Kitty Paquita. Imagine if Paul Lance, right? Imagine if Paul Lance saw your page, Kitty Paquita. And you know he makes a video about you, right? You know what he's going to say? The same things I'm saying. He's going to be like this. Hey, Kitty Paquita or Kitty Productions, I looked on your page. You know, you're exposing these predators, right? You're exposing these pedophiles and these, you know, child rapists and murderers, right? But where's gun violence? Where's January 6th? Where's Alex Preddy getting shot? Where's the awareness of that? Where's the awareness of Renee Good getting shot? Oh, that's right, because you don't want to upset your white trash fan base. See, that's what the problem is. You care more about a piece of metal. You care more about building your wealth on earth than rather build yourself in heaven. Didn't you say yourself that you're a Christian? I remember you told you told somebody that you were Christian, that you know you believed in God. Okay, let's roll with that. Satan also believes in God. Faith without works is dead. A Yuji Itadori cosplayer is more Christian than you. Why? Because he rather gets his hands dirty and beat the ever-living shit out of pedophiles. Because that's how much disdain Jesus has for pedophiles. What? I'm just saying the true facts. Paul will literally destroy your career in a matter of seconds. If you thought that you claim to be the hero of the internet and you be saving people's lives, he's going to ask you 3 things. Where's the post about gun violence? Where's the post about Renee Good? And where's the post about Alex Preddy? He's going to look at every single one of your pages. Not a single damn thing. Not a single damn thing. Because you don't want to upset Firestar Neo on Discord, right? You would rather talk about other people, right? But you don't want to talk about why you're here as a country. It's as simple as that. White supremacy. White supremacy. Didn't God told you to love your neighbor as yourself? Instead, you love Maya Glaze as your neighbor. You love um Maya Glaze. You love S2DYM Gaming as your neighbor. You love all those people that you have in your subscriptions as your neighbor. You care more about a subscription than you care about other people. And that's why we're here. And that's the reality of it. See, the reason why I do this is to not only spread the gospel, but also spread awareness of the darkness that is in this world. See, Kitty Paquita, there's a difference between you and I. I'm actually pro-life. I give a damn about the country. I would rather go out of my way to get my hands dirty and beat the ever-living shit out of pedophiles than rather sit behind a camera and yap with information left and right like I'm Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory. That is the definition of pro-life. That is a definition of a follower of Christ. Me doing the will of the Father who is in heaven. I believe in Jesus, but I also believe for what he did for me. And for everyone here too. So Kitty Paquita, you want to know what Europe has? Oh, click off the channel because it might trigger you. Gun reform. Click off the channel because this might also trigger you too. Universal health care. What does America have that what does America have? Gun violence. What does America have? Child rapists. What does America have? Murderers. What does America have? Military spending. What does America have? Raised up gas prices. What does America have? A adjudicated rapist in the White House. What does Europe have? Universal health care, universal child care, planetary background checks. Isn't that the type of country you want to live in? Where everyone is treated equally in the image of God? Isn't that the type of country you want to live in where it's called the land of opportunity for a reason? I'd rather call Europe the land of opportunity than America. And if you don't like what I'm talking about, you could go find a Mayflower and ship your ass back to England because America has never been a great Christian nation. If this was a great Christian nation, we all would have been thriving under a woman as a president. But you don't want to vote for the black woman because, Hillary slept her way to the, Harris slept her way to the top. Oh, Kamala is just black Hillary. Oh, if the pilot's black, is she qualified? Oh, the Roman blacks are taking the whites' jobs. Oh, this and that, this and that. And that is also the reason why we're here. Racism. See, it's not that you couldn't vote for Trump. It's not that you didn't afford to vote. Your silence says everything. Your silence has more volumes than that of your actions. Your silence voted for Trump. Your silence voted for the adjudicated rapist in the White House. It's not that you couldn't vote for him. It's not that you were ineligible. It's not that you didn't want to vote for him. You just couldn't stomach under a black woman. That's all that matters. You couldn't stomach thriving under a black woman instead of thriving outside in the fields, picking your cotton while you're slashing and whipping her to death. That's what you want in this country. Through your silence, you allowed whipping and lashings of black people. 1619. Black people have been lynched on trees by what demographic, Kid Paquita? The same color as your skin. White people. Your kind has lynched black people on trees. Your kind has mutilated and tore the fetuses out of black women's wombs. And you saying you didn't vote for Trump. Your silence did. Your silence did. You voted for the adjudicated rapist in the White House instead of Kamala Harris. I'm not a Democrat nor a Republican. I'm an independent. And if I was to run as an independent congressman, I would open the border for New Jersey and will allow everyone from different countries to come to New Jersey. That is the definition of united. See, the definition of the United States of America is togetherness. America is supposed to be called the land of opportunities, where people from different countries will come in and live how we live. But no, we decide that, Donald Trump himself, mind you, the greatest president of the United States. We allow an adjudicated rapist in the White House to close the borders across all sides. Meaning people from China can't come into the US. Meaning people from Puerto Rico can't come to the United States. Meaning that people from Japan can't come to the United States. It's as simple as that. And if I ran as an independent congressman, New Jersey would be open for everybody to come forward. It will be open for everybody. And I don't care if I die. I don't care if I die, because I will rather die for my faith than rather die for myself. Because I give a damn about the people, by the people, for the people, and of course, we, the people of the United States of America. But since you went, mind you, Kitty Paquita, you're a Christian, so allow me to say this. You went to God and told God on 2 occasions, both in 16 and 20, that you wanted an earthly king. God said no. Then, in 2024, you went to God again and said, God, let me have an earthly king. And God got ahead and said, you know what? Let me give you Donald Trump. Don't blame me when your economy goes to shit. And look at where we are now. Because of your silence and who you voted for, this is the result. So you can shut the fuck up about saying that you didn't vote. Yes, you did through your silence. Silence is complicity. And that is the reason why we're here as a country. Through your silence, Kitty, and through your silence, Sped Noodles, you voted for an adjudicated rapist that cares about tax fraud, that cares about raping children, that cares about bombing 180 schools filled with girls that are in the ages of 7 to 12. You care more about earthly possessions rather than that of which is godly. Give that which is Caesar's unto Caesar's, and that which is godly unto God. That which is Caesar's, give it unto Caesar. That which is God Almighty's, give it up to God. And that's why we're here. A Yuji Itadori cosplayer is far more Christian, and he himself doesn't believe in anything. And yet he is more Christian than you. Because he actually focuses on his work. Going around beating pedophiles up. Beating the shit out of them. Because he has the same disdain as Jesus has for every pedophile that's on earth. Jesus hates pedophiles with a passion. He would rather see them on a guillotine than rather see them with their heads hanged up like in a museum. It is that fucking simple. Don't like it? Ship your ass back to England. Stay there. Because that's where you belong. Because America's never been great for anybody. Ask a Muslim. Ask a transgender athlete. Ask them, has America been great? They will tell you the very same thing. No. They will tell you that. They will say no. America has never been great for Muslims. Since 1776, all the way to the 1960s, guess what gender weren't allowed to vote? You guessed it, Kitty Paquita. Women. And guess at what percentage is this country made of? 50% of this country is women. Half of this country is filled with women. But you don't like it, do you? You rather support an adjudicated rapist in the White House. Oh, and let's not forget Charlie Kirk, the racist podcaster who claims to know Jesus. Dead Americans are worth the cost of the Second Amendment. The Roman blacks are taking the whites' jobs. If the pilot's black, is he qualified? You, Sped Noodles, and everyone else supports Charlie Kirk because of racism. That's what it is. And this is what I hear every time. We are Charlie Kirk. We light up the flame. We fight for the gospel and honor his name. We are Charlie Kirk. But instead, this is what you need to hear. We are Charlie Kirk. We allow racism and rape in our country in the name of Trump. We are Charlie Kirk. That right there. That's what potentially Charlie Kirk said before he died. Charlie Kirk allowed racism, allowed hatred, allowed sexism, allowed feminism, allowed sexual assault, allowed gun violence, allowed rape, and get this, allowed Sweet Home Alabama in our country. Wow. What a great Christian nation, am I right, guys? Wow. What a great Christian nation, right? What a great Christian Charlie Kirk is, right? Wow. To allow racism in our country? Wow. What a great Christian. No, the fuck he is not. He is a modern day Pharisee, and he is going to spend the rest of his days with Jeffrey Epstein. right where he belongs. You and 77 million people are going to stand before God, and God is going to ask you, did you talk about Renee Good in my name? Did you spread awareness about the darkness of this world in my name? Did you spread awareness of what Charlie Kirk said in my name? This is you. I didn't. I own the limbs. I didn't want to upset you, God. I just didn't want to upset my fan base, my subscribers. I didn't want to upset them. I didn't want to upset Maya Glaze. I didn't want to do that because I'm pro-life. I own the limbs, Jesus. I believe in you. I'm a Christian. Oh, are you? Yeah, you could go right with Jeffrey Epstein. You could go right with the goats. What is the greatest commandment that God literally said to do? Love thy neighbor as yourself. You don't love your neighbor. You love Maya Glaze and you love your subscribers more than you love Alex Preddy, more than you love Renee Good, more than you love all these people. Because why? Because you would rather die for yourself than rather die for other people. So you could go right with the goats. Matter of fact, let me read you the whole entire detail of what's bound to happen to these fake MAGA and these fake Christians. Let me read to you what's bound to happen to them. It literally says it in the scriptures. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then he will sit on the throne of his glory, and all the nations will be gathered before him. And he will separate them from one another, as a shepherd divides his sheep from the goats. And he will set the sheep on his right hand. Hey, Kitty Paquita, let me educate you. Do you know what the right hand stands for? Do you know what his right hand is? The hand of favor. And he will set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left, which is the hand of disappointment. Then the king will say to those on his right hand, those who done the work of the Father who is in heaven, those who beat pedophiles up, those who spoke about Renee Good, those who spoke about Alex Preddy, those who spoke about Breonna Taylor, a black woman that was shot by police officers, not by ICE. He will say to them, come, you blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world, for I was hungry and you gave me food. These people gave 14 million kids food to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a homeless man and you invited me in. My brother's wife was about to invite Jesus into her home, but my brother denied against it because he thought that the homeless man was a murderer or something. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you came to me. Then the righteous, those who go out and beat pedophiles up, those who spoke about Renee Good in Jesus' name, those who spoke about Renee Good in his name, those who spoke about Breonna Taylor getting shot by police officers in his name, will answer him saying, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you drink? When did we see you a homeless man and take you in, or naked and clothe you? Or when did we see you sick or in prison and come to you? And the king will answer and say unto them, assuredly I say to you, in as so much you did to one of the least of these, my brethren, you did it to me. Now, this is for you, Katie Paquita, since you're pro-life and you claim to be a Christian and you claim to, expose predators and you claim to, do all of that, right? Then he will say to those on the left hand, the hand of disappointment, depart from me, you cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me no food, was thirsty, and you gave me no drink, was a stranger, was a homeless man, and you did not take me in, naked, you did not clothe me, sick and in prison, you did not visit me. So y'all could be quiet about y'all being Christians, because y'all not. Y'all modern day Pharisees. A Yuji Itadori cosplayer is far more Christian than y'all, because he went out and did what was right. But you know what happened after? He got arrested and was charged with assault and public nuisance. But you know what the pedophile got? Compensation and minimal charges. Mind you, this happened in Singapore at an anime convention where a Yuji Itadori cosplayer saw a literal child molester and started beating the ever-living shit out of him. But then the convention was like, hey, listen, we don't allow that in our anime convention. So they allow a predator cat, a child molester to walk scot-free, but they arrest the predator poacher. And that is the reason why we are suffering as a country. And I'm going to say it again, I hope democracy falls, and I pray to God that it does. I pray it does. So that way, people can understand and realize the detriments of their situation. Faith without works is dead. You claiming to be Christian means Satan is a Christian. And that's why we're here. It's not about the price of eggs. It's not that you couldn't vote for Trump. It's not that you weren't afforded to vote for Trump. Your silence has more volumes than your actions. So, until someone actually has a concept to go outside and actually be themselves, instead of having these decoys and alt account type shit and actually beat a pedophile's ass up, ain't nothing gonna change. Until then, I will keep making videos. I will keep continuing to expose the darkness that is in this world. Have yourselves a white day. And to y'all MAGA Christians and to y'all MAGA supporters who support Donald Trump, gurking and slurping and burping his dick all day long, keep having the day you voted for. Wait till Judgment Day. Ain't nothing gonna save you then. Have a white day.